Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay. Today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons and I want to talk about the evergreen topic of fudging dice. All right, so this is an evergreen topic. I've been doing D&D commentary for 10 years and I've probably done 20, maybe 30 videos on fudging dice over that time, and the reason why is this topic constantly comes up and up again and again and again, right? It happens all the time, okay? And so it is an interesting subject. The reason why we're talking about it today is I have changed my stance on fudging. Okay, so what was my previous stance? Here's my stance. As a dungeon master, you should never, ever fudge, ever. Right? I feel so strongly about this that I don't use a dungeon master screen. Right? They're extremely helpful. I would love to use a dungeon master screen, but I feel like there's so many problems with dungeon master screens. One, why on earth should you erect a barrier between you and your players? It immediately, like, people will have a problem with the word master, like dungeon master, right? Nothing you can do is more, I'm a dungeon master, we're different, than literally erecting a wall between you and the players and keeping a bunch of secrets. It is not helpful. It's terrible. I think using a dungeon master screen is horrible. And one of the things it allows, and so I don't fudge. I never fudge, and I make every roll in the open. Right, that way. Professor Dungeon Master says this best. He's like, hey, dungeon masters don't kill players. Dice kill players, right? But if you use a dungeon master screen, nobody knows if the dice killed it, because you can fudge, right? So if you use a dungeon master, so my take is, and that's as far as I went. No dungeon master should ever fudge, right? That's not enough now, right? We're in a world where we really need to start thinking about players fudging. Oh, we don't need to think about that, Scott. Players should never fudge dice. They're not even allowed. Dungeon masters are allowed, but players aren't. That's not part of the conversation. You're wrong. And this is where my opinion has changed. All right, so first of all, if you're a dungeon master, do not fudge, okay? And do not use a DM screen, or you can use a DM screen, but every time you roll, literally lift the DM screen up and show your result. Okay, that's fine, okay? But you have to roll in the open, or you have to display every roll you make, okay? And even that, even lifting it up is like, I love dungeon master screens. I wish I could use them. You can't use them. It's just it. All right, let's do it this way. Anybody, you got to give the DM screen up, and the reason why is, even if you keep it, it just gives you a chance. Even if you're displaying every roll, it gives you a chance to fudge, right? And here's the kicker: players, if your dungeon master is using a dungeon master screen, right, or obscuring their dice rolls in any way, it is your obligation, in my humble opinion, to begin fudging as a player group. You should learn to fudge, you should fake your rolls as often as possible, and you should help each other as players to fake your rolls. If the DM isn't gonna honor the dice, there's no reason in the world you should. Okay? So this is my new stance on fudging, okay? If your dungeon master rolls in the open and is not fudging, you should never fudge as a player. If your dungeon master is fudging rolls, some people are actually open about it, which I'm shocked that any DM would ever do that. That is the worst take, right? Like, hey everybody, I'm lying to you. Aren't you having a good time? Yeah. Good Lord. Right? Like, I swear, I really feel, this isn't me just saying this. There is a lack of good DMs. So there's a bunch of terrible things that happen under DMs. The DMs will just say it out loud, almost like when partners neg another partner. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to tell you flat out I fudge. I can't imagine. I know there are some dumb DMs that do it. Like, they're like, I'm fudging. I'm cheating on the dice rolls, and I'm just telling it to you now because you have nowhere to go. There's nobody around here that's going to be your DM. Okay. If your dungeon master tells you they're fudging, if they roll behind a dungeon master screen, you as a player, in my opinion, are obligated to begin fudging, right? To find ways to lie about your result, right? And the reason why is just synchronicity, parallelism, right? It's karmic, right? Like, you should not honor the dice rolls if the dungeon master isn't going to. So my new take is that any dungeon master fudging a single roll in any campaign fully permissions I would even say obligates every single player at the table to fudge dice and to report whatever result they want whenever they want. That's a new take. That is and I also think it's a completely unique take. I don't think anybody's, and I think the reason no one just really discussed this before is this conversation has always been on the side of the dungeon master, right? And there's been an assumption that players should not fudge. If the dungeon master is fudging, the players should absolutely fudge. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. You get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.